I want to thank you all for joining me today to talk about how we will address RV homelessness, help our families, and restore public spaces in San Francisco. When I first began working with groups addressing family homelessness in 2005, I met parents doing everything they could to give their kids a better life. Over the past 20 years, and now as mayor, I've seen that same drive. Parents fighting for stability, for permanent housing, for a real foundation. Life in an RV can't offer that. It isolates families. It leaves them behind. RV encampments also create challenges for our neighborhoods. Noisy generators with unsafe electrical hookups, bike lanes blocked by broken down vehicles, wastewater dumped into sewers that create real public health hazards. In a city with as many resources as ours, we can't accept that. As we've worked on this legislation, I kept coming back to parents. The parents living in vehicles deserve real options for raising their kids in safety and dignity. And the parents trying to walk down the street with their family deserve sidewalks that are clean, safe, and accessible. This new RV legislation I signed today delivers that. It combines compassion with accountability. It creates a clear path to housing, and it gives our city the tools to clean up neighborhoods and improve the quality of life for all San Franciscans. I want to thank Supervisor Melgar, President Mandelman, and the Board of Supervisors for their partnership in passing this legislation. I also want to thank the departments on the Large Vehicle Task Force, 12 agencies working together every single week to create and implement this policy the right way. This is a true team effort, and it will require continued urgency and coordination to succeed. Under this new law, we will deploy specialized outreach teams. We will offer housing placements, family rapid rehousing subsidies, and vehicle buybacks for families, for seniors, and single adults who need a path off the streets. And we will put in place a 2-hour citywide parking limit that will be enforced consistently. When necessary, residents living in large vehicles who are actively engaged in services will be eligible for a temporary parking permit while they transition into housing. But long-term RV encampments on our streets will no longer be tolerated. This legislation gives us a path forward on what has long felt like an intractable problem. Let's meet this moment. Let's move quickly. And let's deliver the safer and cleaner, more dignified city that every San Franciscan deserves. Thank you. And now I would like to turn the floor over to Supervisor Melgar.
I believe there's going to be
the translations. That's right. Thank you, sir.
Buenos días. Gracias por acompañarme hoy para hablar sobre cómo vamos a abordar la falta de vivienda relativa a los vehículos recreativos, la ayuda disponible para nuestras familias y la restauración de los espacios públicos en San Francisco. Mientras que hemos estado trabajando en esta legislación, he vuelto a recordar a los padres como los que viven en vehículos y que merecen mejores opciones para criar a sus hijos con seguridad y dignidad. Y padres como los que tratan de pasar por las calles con sus familias y que merecen aceras limpias, seguras y accesibles. Esta nueva legislación sobre los vehículos recreativos que firmé hoy cumple precisamente con eso. Esta ley combina la compasión con la rendición de cuentas, crea un camino despejado hacia la vivienda y le da a nuestra ciudad las herramientas para limpiar nuestros vecindarios y mejorar la calidad para todos los residentes de San Francisco. Conforme a esta nueva ley, vamos a desplegar equipos especializados de alcance. Ofreceremos la colocación en viviendas, los subsidios de reubicación rápida para las familias y la recompra de vehículos para aquellas familias, personas mayores y adultos solteros que necesiten un camino para salir de la indigencia. Asimismo, los límites de dos horas para el estacionamiento entrarán en vigor por toda la ciudad y serán aplicados con regularidad. Cuando sea necesario, los residentes que vivan en vehículos grandes y que estén actualmente participando en servicios públicos podrán recibir un permiso de estacionamiento temporal mientras que ellos estén cambiando de vivienda. En cuanto a los campamentos de caravanas a largo plazo en nuestras calles, esto ya no se va a tolerar. Quiero dar las gracias a la supervisora Melgar, al presidente Mandelman y a la Junta de Supervisores por su colaboración en la aprobación de esta legislación. También quiero dar las gracias a los departamentos integrantes del Grupo de Trabajo para Vehículos Grandes, los 12 organismos que trabajan juntos cada semana para crear y aplicar esta política de una buena manera. Este es un verdadero esfuerzo de equipo y requerirá la urgencia y coordinación de continuas para alcanzar el éxito. Aprovechemos este momento de manera ágil y logremos una ciudad más segura, limpia y digna, lo que todo residente de San Francisco merece. Gracias.
各位早晨，好多謝今日大家可以出席，知道我哋最新點樣解決露營車無家可歸者嘅問題。我哋係點樣可以幫助三藩市嘅家庭，令佢哋並且還路於民，令佢哋可以得到一個乾淨嘅三藩市環境。喺我嘅立法過程裏邊，我一直都重申我哋要關注父母，唔單止係嗰啲父母蝸居喺露營車入邊，佢哋理應得到市府更多嘅選擇，可以安全同埋體面咁樣養育佢哋下一代。而且仲有啲父母，佢哋理應有一條乾淨、安全並且暢行無阻嘅人行道，可以帶住佢哋嘅小朋友同埋屋企人，可以喺人行道上邊通行無阻。今日我簽署嘅一個新嘅露營車法案就可以達成呢一啲目標。佢兼顧咗人道同埋問責，開拓咗新嘅流程，可以令到呢一啲無家可歸者得到住房，而且亦都更加俾咗市府一個工具，可以改善清潔我哋嘅社區，並且改善所有三藩市居民嘅生活質量。喺呢個新嘅法例之下，我哋將派遣專責嘅外展小組，提供安置，為家庭提供重新住房嘅補貼，同埋車輛回購項目。呢一啲都將會為嗰啲需要安置但係只需要少少幫助嘅無家可歸者得到應有嘅幫助。無論係家庭、長者或者係成年嘅單身人士，佢哋都可以同樣得到協助。喺必要嘅時候，我哋會喺全市實行2個鐘嘅停車限制，並且持續咁樣保障執法力度。喺必要嘅時候，呢一啲居住喺露營車，亦都同時積極接受市府服務嘅居民，可以符合資格獲得暫時嘅停車資格證。但係我哋三藩市內將唔會再對大規模嘅露營車停車嘅問題置之不理。喺呢一度，我好多謝市參事梅爾加、市參事會主席萬達文同埋所有市參事全體成員嘅不懈努力，先可以令到一條法案成功通過。我亦都感謝組成呢一個大型車輛工作小組嘅各市府部門，全靠呢12個市府部門嘅通力合作，先可以令到我哋一個政策從制定到實施到解決到實際嘅問題。呢一個係真正嘅合作、協助同埋團結。跟住落嚟，我哋亦都需要大家嘅合作同埋不懈嘅努力，先可以令到呢一個協調得到更充分嘅發展同埋得到成功。等我哋順應呢一個時勢，等我哋快速咁樣響應，令到我哋可以有一個更加安全、乾淨同埋整潔嘅三藩市，俾所有嘅三藩市居民。多謝。
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'm Mirna Melgar. I'm the supervisor for District 7. I will make my remarks in English and then in Spanish and keep it short. I am the supervisor for a West Side district that is home to a large population of people living in RVs. And this has been the case for many years. It is not a homogeneous population. People come to live in vehicles, most often not because they want to, but because they don't have other choices. Some folks are passing through. We do have folks who come through San Mateo County, Marin County, and San Francisco County, and that has always happened as well. And we've had very few enforceable rules around this. The population, as I said, is not homogeneous, but the community around them is mostly working class. Park Merced, Lakewood Apartments, they're renters, working class renters. And the cost to the community have been some of the things that the mayor stated: sewage, garbage, fire hazards. But for people living in their vehicles, having your kids lay down their heads at night next to 40-mile-an-hour traffic is not pleasant or fun. Being on the street exposed to harm is not the best place. We have millions of dollars in San Francisco through the Prop C fund that has accrued. I think the compassionate thing to do is to make our systems work, to meet people where they're at. And that's what this legislation does. It allows a path for success so that people who are ready and just poor, don't have a deposit, need to work with a social worker to get their situation stabilized, are given the chance to success. It's important for families, it's important for newcomers, it's important for everyone to have a path to success, and we are putting our resources there. I want to thank the mayor. The first thing that he said to me when I brought up this issue when he first became mayor was, "I promise you we will work together," and he really kept to his work. I'm grateful also for Kunal Modi and Uford Pan, who did the hard work of looking at the policy, looking at the systems, and ensuring that we had legislation and policies and procedures that supported our goals. I will say this in Spanish now. Mi nombre es Mirna Melgar, soy la supervisora del Distrito 7 que ha tenido una población de personas viviendo en vehículos por muchos años. Eso es un problema para la comunidad porque la gente no tiene acceso a disponer de sus aguas negras, de la basura, generadores con electricidad que posan un peligro de incendio, pero también es un problema para las personas viviendo en sus vehículos porque están durmiendo por la noche cabal a la par de tráfico a 40 millas por hora y también expuesto a problemas y peligros en la calle, y no podemos tener esa seguridad que tenemos en las casas. Entonces, una de las primeras cosas que me dijo el alcalde cuando se hizo alcalde es que me prometió que íbamos a trabajar juntos para hacer una legislación que tenía compasión a las familias para asegurar que tenían éxito, y esto es lo que esta legislación hace. Tenemos millones en el fondo de Proposición C y yo he insistido que ese dinero se utilice para estas familias que han sido aisladas, no se les ha prestado atención para que puedan tener éxito, para que los niños puedan ir a la escuela, tener una casa. Esa gente es pobre y no tenía acceso a depósitos, a ayuda, y esto asegura que lo van a hacer. Quiero darle muchas gracias a Kunal Modi y a Uford Pan, que trabajan con el alcalde, por haber puesto mucho trabajo en esto y asegurarse que las cosas iban a ser así como nosotros tenemos como meta y visión. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. I want to also thank Supervisor Matt Dorsey and Supervisor Cheryl for being here today, for your support, and also just every department head that is behind me, 12 different departments meeting weekly. And Supervisor Melgar, thank you for your leadership on this really important issue.
Hi. My name is Michael Helby. I am the chair of the Market Zone Working Group, which is a coalition of property owners, businesses, and nonprofits located in the Market Zone area of Bayview, Hunters Point. We've been working together since 2021 to improve the street conditions in our underserved part of District 10. The market zone plays a vital role in supporting San Francisco's economic diversity and resilience by providing space for essential businesses that create local jobs. However, an increasing number of RVs has significantly impacted the functionality and safety of our neighborhood, particularly for employees who come to work during off hours. Large vehicles severely limit parking availability for employees and customers, impact safety and security, and create logistical challenges for our businesses in their day-to-day operations. We appreciate the efforts being made that have been made by the mayor and city staff in developing a compassionate and practical response to this complex issue. This program to address long-term RV parking on the city streets appears to be both thoughtful and a comprehensive step forward. Importantly, it recognizes both the need to restore public safety and street accessibility, as well as the urgent need to provide a pathway to stable, long-term housing for those living in vehicles. As a working group, our efforts have also included being fully supportive of the Bayshore Navigation Center on Gerald and Bayshore, the Bayview Navigation Center on Evans, and the recently opened Commons on Gerald, and all of which are located within the market zone. We strongly support this legislation and are hopeful that its implementation will bring measurable improvements to the marking zone while also advancing broader city goals of safety and housing stability across the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Questions?
What do you say to Supervisor Fielder that she said this is not right and the city shouldn't do this? There's just not enough housing or anything to support these families?
I'd say, listen, to anybody that opposes this, I would say we can disagree, but you can't disagree with what neighbors and neighborhoods have been going through for years in our city. It's not compassionate. There's no accountability. As Supervisor Melgar said, this is taking over neighborhoods of working-class neighborhoods, people that just want to raise their kids in a safe environment, whether they're living in broken-down RVs or they're living in rental units or homeowners. And so we have to do better as a city. This is going to allow us to do better.
Opponents have brought up concerns about a range of unanswered questions in terms of like the effective date, when outreach is starting, what that's going to look like, and something you might be able to answer.
Yeah, I'll let Kunal take that question.
So in terms of the timeline of what comes next, the legislation will go into effect 30 days after today. We'll spend the first month doing culturally competent outreach and engagement to make sure families and RVs, nearby businesses and residents are aware of the program, understand the different facets and permutations, the options available to them. We'll then spend the subsequent month offering the range of services, the vehicle buyback, the housing, the case management available to them. And then only after they've had that opportunity to avail themselves of the variety of services that are part of this program, will we then in that third month begin the enforcement that the mayor talked about, the 2-hour parking restriction.
So in 2 months, the 2-hour parking restriction will be in?
It goes into effect earlier, but what we're going to do is we're going to lead with engagement, outreach, make offers of services so families can move into housing. That's ultimately our goal, to make sure for those RVs that are here, and then to begin that enforcement after everyone's had an opportunity to engage with outreach workers and understand the services available to them.
Yeah, there's Christian. So it could be a challenging sell for people for whom this is their big asset. So wondering what it's going to look like convincing those people to do this. And you might have two different populations: people who come here either seasonally or for work, and then people who really rely on this for their primary residence for good. How do you work that? And then the other question is, what is enforcement going to look like if you do have somebody who's non-compliant, who doesn't want to give this up?
I'll let Kunal answer that second question again.
Yeah, please. Absolutely. So I'll start and the supervisor will jump in. We'll have a progressive enforcement model, and so We're going to, again, start with those outreach teams that can engage with folks in the language they speak. They can understand the services available to them, both the case management, the housing, the vehicle buyback. We do think that what we've put forward is a better option for most families, and it's been informed through conversations with those families and various stakeholders. And so we think it is something many people will choose to accept, and after multiple attempts, then we'll begin the enforcement. But the goal is to really support those who are on our streets today to get into housing, but to fundamentally end up in a place where RV encampments are no longer part of our city life. Supervisor.
Thank you, Director Modi. I just wanted to point out that this is not new to us. So for the past 3.5 years, we have been working with a portion of these families, and I want to thank Shireen McSpadden and Victoria Wise with the MTA who are here. In the past 3.5 years, we have been able to move 52 families into better situations than RVs. Most of them went into empty apartments in the West Side with a subsidy. And that, to me, is a success. What we want is for folks to be successfully housed. What we learned is that oftentimes there wasn't the collaboration between departments, or there wasn't the systems built to support it. So this legislation actually reflects all the challenges that we saw. The one thing that I wanted to point out to an earlier question is that what's new about this legislation is that it also provides for a refuge permit. That is a 6-month permit and can be extended if the family is working with caseworkers, they haven't quite found a situation that is better. But I think that approach also will stabilize those families, because you will not be towed while you have a permit to be on our streets. And that, I think, is a compassionate way to give people time to adjust, but also ensures that eventually we will have the public right-of-way be public again. And that is, I think, progress. Thank you.
Question, but there have been concerns that there aren't enough housing subsidies to cover the amount of people who are illegally homeless. What would you say to that?
We're leading with compassion. We're going to offer housing subsidies. Kunal can answer more about space, but let me tell you, there are a lot of families that we can take care of, and so we're going to start there. And all I would say back to what the earlier question was, we are going to do this compassionately, but there's got to be compassion for those families that are living in RVs, but there's got to be compassion for the people living in our neighborhoods and those families living inside right now. And we've forgotten about them over the last few years, and so we're going to do better on all fronts. Kunal, do you want to answer on the?
So I want to thank the Board of Supervisors and their partnership through the budget process and our conversations around how we deploy Prop C funding. We've secured enough housing, we believe, to make sure this program is successful. Over 800 slots of housing, 578 permanent housing slots for families, over 400 of which are rapid rehousing, and then the remainder in shallow subsidies and permanent supportive housing, and over 250 slots for adults and transitional age youth, and so over 800 in total, many more than the RVs on our streets today, which means we can both serve those in RVs while continuing to make progress against our wait lists in other parts of our system.
Sure, I'll just take one. Mayor, I know you're facing a number of issues in the city since you've taken office. How definitive is this for your role as mayor and your leadership? The 6 months out, are you seeing this as kind of one of the issues that will define the success of your term so far?
Listen, I think Supervisor Melgar said this. We talked about this in January. It's been an issue for our city for years and years now, and what this is proof of is that when we come together, when we work together, when we have 12 different departments meeting weekly to make sure that we do this with compassion, when we do it with accountability, we can get the job done. I know the Board of Supervisors tried to make a move on this a year ago. That didn't work. It's a new day in City Hall and here in San Francisco, and we are going to do things differently, and I think that's demonstrated by the success that Supervisor Melgar and the Board of Supervisors have had in crafting this legislation alongside us. This is a new day for San Francisco. And I don't want to get into what this means for me. I think that what this means for San Francisco is we're going to have cleaner, safer streets. We're going to have more people living inside. And if you want to stay in your RV, you can do so outside of San Francisco. There's going to be options for people. Thank you.